have a look at this next clip. It's building blocks called GoldieBlox, and it tries to encourage girls to have an interest in engineering. So let's have a look. Isn't that a fabulous advert? And
it's a good lesson on what engineering is.
Yeah, exactly.
Engineering, my word.
So, speaking of toys, I want you just to have a look at this image. I'm sure that you've seen it, but this is a 1981 Lego ad of this beautiful girl with a bunch of Lego. And it's the type of thing it's so encouraging to see. It's not focused on the fact that she's a girl, but just the fact that she likes to build Lego. So, Mashable, or somebody, got a hold of her a couple of years later, and this is what she looks like now. She's a doctor, and here she's holding a little Barbie Lego-y minivan. It is actually Lego, and the idea is that those were the toys when she was a kid, and now we're forcing little girls to play with this little van. And the van in and of itself isn't that bad, because the little Lego Barbie, whatever it is a TV reporter, but it's focused on the fact that she needs to sit down at her little makeup table and put her makeup on before she goes on camera. And it's kind of ridiculous that we could take the focus from TV reporter, there's a world of news out there, but put your face on first. So it's a bit worrying.
There's a wonderful letter that's, the net is a gold mine of these types of things, but there's a letter from a 7-year-old little girl who wrote to Lego and said, I don't understand why there's so many little Lego men, and they all get to do good things or exciting things like going swimming with sharks and being adventurers and having jobs. And all my girl Lego pieces stay at home and ride horses and have no jobs. And this is a 7-year-old little girl, but she's recognizing that all the little Lego women, who is very few and far between, are the ones playing with their ponies or at a little Lego gym, or doggy parlor, which is ridiculous. But I think there's also the toy manufacturing companies have bought into this, and it's a way of diversifying their ranges and making sure you buy more, because if you have a little boy and then a little girl, heaven forbid you share their toys like you would have done, as any of us would have done as kids. So the more pink it is, the more likely you are to buy another blue one for another.
Well, Lauren, you're practically reading my mind, because that was the next thing that I was going to tell you about, this little 7-year-old who wrote this letter to Lego. And she says, today I went to the store and saw Legos in 2 sections, the pink and the blue. All the girls did was sit at home, go to bed, and show they had no jobs. And, this isn't a political analyst. It's a 7-year-old.
Yeah, that wants more from life than
yes, to sit at home
the rest of her life. Exactly.
So, Susan, but this isn't just about little girls, because you're a mom to 2 boys, and it's so easy on the sports field or at home to say stuff like, oh, you're being a sissy, or man up, or these ridiculous things that we say to boys who are being treated really unfairly just as much as little girls are. So what do you think?
And I think there's been some of these campaigns around that issue over the last year of, how we're raising boys and the messages we give them about not crying and not showing emotion and how damaging it is, and then everyone turns around and complains when they're not good communicators in relationships later in life. So
Yeah, I think it's very important that, like little girls, little boys are nurtured and allowed to express their negative feelings, and they're allowed to feel scared and allowed to cry without being belittled or forced to cut themselves off from their feelings. So yeah, it is something that you have to. You're not always in control of. Once they reach school, you're going to have teachers, and other little boys are their worst sort of enemies. That kind of make sure that is the norm, that you don't cry in front of other little boys, because they can be pretty vicious in getting that message across. So I think that interestingly, obviously this is a massive generalization. They have done quite a lot of studies on boy children that have been raised in women-only households, obviously middle-class women-only households, and sort of two-mother households, and they often are slightly more able to articulate their feelings, and they are slightly have higher emotional intelligence. But somehow a male figure in the household, obviously if it's a particular type of male figure, and I'm thinking more maybe in our father's generations, they are the ones that are perpetuating those sort of, ways of thinking, and that's what was told to them as little boys. So if you can try and kind of, educate those fathers, that we can sort of start fixing that messaging.
I think we're all kind of obsessed with Ryan Gosling, and I read an interview with him. It was fairly recently, and somebody asked, how is it that you are just considered to be the perfect man? Everybody wants to be with you because you treat women so well. And what he said was he was raised by a mom and a sister, and he learned how to communicate and how to treat women and how not to say belittling things. And I thought, well, there you go.